Alright, hello and welcome to the 23rd, 22nd, something like that, episode of my Retro City Rampage Clone in Unity tutorial. Today we're doing like three small things which wouldn't really fit into like one big topic, so yeah. First off is some sorting order stuff, so if we I've just used this car as an example I placed here. So if we approach it from the bottom, because like the idea is the screen renders up, so it appears we're in front of it, but if we approach it from the top, we are behind it. Magic. Ooh. Second thing you might have noticed is more variety on the civilians. I have 4 that can spawn at this point, but I think I've only got 3 because I messed up the code somewhere, but nope, that's 4. So yeah, 4 varieties of civilians. And another thing is coins spawn on death and they fade to nothing when they die, just to get rid of stuff, and that happens for cars as well. So just get in here, drive you over here. Hopefully I have enough ammo to actually destroy the thing. Yep, the car fades away as well. And just gun all you down, just to make a point. Yep. Alright, now let's show you how it works. Okay, basically there's one main thing I need to go over for the theory of what we're going to do today, and that is the sprite renderer and how the sort of rendering order works. Yeah. So basically on sprite renderers there is there are layers of sprites basically, and each sprite renderer has an order in the layer which defines how it's rendered, the layer it's rendered on, as you can see here. What that is, it's number, which I think it's limited to 32,000, but we don't need that much for what we're going to do here. Basically what it is the higher the number, the higher the number, the higher the layer is. So say if something was if 2 objects were like on top of each other, one is layer 100 and one is layer 0, the layer 100 objects would get rendered first. Okay, and yeah, so that's pretty much how it works. And what we need to do is for the lower you are on the screen, the higher we want the number to be, so it gives the impression, because we're sort of like facing the world at an angle with the camera, we need to look as if like the things at the lower part of the screen are closer to us than the things at the other edge. So say there's something at the bottom of the screen, this would be the highest, then the middle would be just be us, this is just the player, and then this would have a lower sorting order, because it's at the edge of the screen, like we're in front of that, but this one is in front of us, if that makes sense. Yeah. So let's go see how that was programmed. Okay. Alright, here's the code for the sorting order controller. Basically, this script is on the NPCs, the player, and cars that are used in the game. It's got basically the main function is to control the sorting order, so things are rendered correctly or in the correct order. And it does this by, if it's not dead, so we have a fading out, which basically controls the flashing bit if it's died. So if that's not happening, then it'll convert the current position of the object that it's attached to screen position, so like an X and Y coordinates on the screen. And it will then so yeah. So it then takes the Y coordinate that it gets that signifies like where it is on the screen's height. So at the bottom it'll be close to 0. At the top it'll be close to whatever the size of the window or the height of your screen is. And it takes that from the screen's height, which gives us the value that we want for the sorting order, but as a float rather than, because the coordinate will be a float, I think. Well, yeah, because a vector free floats, and yeah, so we cast that to an int and then apply it to the sorting order. And basically, the closer to the top of the screen or window an object is, the higher the pos.y is, so the lower the overall sorting order will be. So that means it gets rendered like after all the things with higher values than it, which gives us the effect of if we approach something from the bottom, we appear in front of it, but if we approach it from the top, we appear behind it, which is good. Yeah, so now I've got the complex stuff out of the way. Let's have a look. All right, so the fading out. Basically, I've got a method that starts on def, so it sets fading out to true and sets the sorting order to 1 of whatever object it is, so it'll basically be, you can walk on top of it, so if it's like a body, you can just walk on top of it and you don't appear behind it or anything. And then, what do we do? Actually, we got the boolean to control, alright, are we fading out? And if it's true, we call the fade out method, which basically has 2 timers. One is 3 seconds long, which is the overall fade out timer. Once this is counted down, we destroy it. But we also have a 0.2 second long one, which is basically, this controls the flashing between enabling the sprite renderer and disabling it. So as you can see here, we count down both timers. If the original fade out timer reaches 0, then it'll destroy the object. But if the fade out timer 2 one reaches 0, it'll either enable or disable the sprite renderer based on like, is it enabled or not? So it like flashes, and then resets the timer to 0.2. And these are called from the 2 help scripts. So as you can see here, we just have this.get component sorting order control.onDef, so that sets it to true, and then we don't need to do anything else. And this similar, that was the car one, and a similar one for the NPC health. It's the same method, so we don't need to do anything with it else, which is pretty good. Another thing we had to change for the sorting order was the NPC weapon controller. It wasn't a big change. We basically just added this method to get the sorting order, the current sorting order of this object, and then basically it'll either change it to, it'll basically just set the sorting order of the weapon controller for both the player and the NPC to either -1 or +1, based on like, are we facing away from the camera or towards the camera, basically, up or down or whatever. That was just a quick change from like it either being just 1 or 0 or -1. So that's a pretty quick, easy change to make. What else? Oh yeah, the NPC controller. Basically, it's a minor change, not just so we can allow a variety of NPCs to spawn rather than just the one. So what we've done is we've changed the NPC value we had that was just one NPC that we spawned to being an array of NPC prefabs that we can spawn. And we've also created a method that's basically gets a random NPC out of that array. So it'll get a random integer between 0 and the length of the array, and then return the array value with that integer. And then that is used here. So basically just get a random NPC to instantiate. But we also had to change the rotation because we were using just the prefabs rotation. So we could just use the quaternion.euler, which basically allows us to put in the actual rotation values that we want, which doesn't work with actually just using the quaternion. You have to use the quaternion.euler for some reason. But yeah. So we just basically set it to 0, 0, 0 because we don't need to rotate because it's all sort of like simulated with the different facing sprites. And yeah, there's one more thing that I've got to remember. Oh yeah, there's a bug fix in the enter car script. Basically, on the player leaving car, we have to set their player transform.parent to null, because a bug that was in previous episodes, which I've only just found out, was that if you left a car, the player would still be a child object of that car, which would be a problem, say, if the car was destroyed. That means that it like it'd get destroyed, and then it would destroy the player and the camera, and it'd break the game, and it wouldn't be fun. So that's not a thing you want to do. Is there anything else? Done that. Oh yeah, I did do like some changes to the. I added a car layer and an NPC layer, and I think I added a player layer as well. Player. Yeah, basically I just added layers for the separate objects just so I can control collisions between them. It was mainly for demonstrating what like the whole rendering order thing. So yeah, that is the code, and now we can get onto the art. Alright, hello. The art now, basically. So for the different civilians, I've just done a quick palette swap of the player's sprite, which I should probably stop zooming in and out of, so as you can see. And I know I've probably covered it before in the player animations, but I'll cover it again of how it works. Right. Okay, so basically, it's a 4-frame sprite animation that loops while the player is walking. And basically, the reason we don't need all the directions is that Unity's sprite renderer contains a flipx thing, boolean or switch or whatever, that allows us to get interrupted by trains. But we'll also create mirror the sprite facing the other way. So yeah, that just basically allows us to have a less number of sprites getting the same effect, which is always good. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the art. Okay, so now I'll just go over the assembly of all the things that were included in today's episode. So basically, all the cars and NPCs and the player have all had the sorting controller attached to their main object, so the parent object of all the children. And they've all had the layers changed to their respective layers, which I've just separated out for convenience and stuff. So NPCs have NPCs, player have cars. There's player and cars. And basically, you just change the parent. You don't change the actual GUI icon. You just keep that on the GUI icons layer, which we had. And I think I can show you the physics 2D settings. That is the collision matrix. So basically, I've stopped the player colliding with the pathfind define layer. And yeah, actually they shouldn't. But that's GUI icons. They shouldn't collide with it. NPC weapons, NPCs shouldn't collide with the GUI icons. Well, they don't have colliders on anyway, so NPCs collide with cars, player collides with cars, and yeah, so that's it. That is the collision matrix for all the layers. And I think, where is the game controller? Basically, that's where I've put the NPCs array. So similar to the car spawner, just an array of prefabs that we can spawn. Then those are chosen at random. Yeah, that's the assembly, I think. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Alright, now I'm just going to show you again what we made today. So, you see, we've got the sorting order, so we appear in front of things we approach from the bottom of the screen, but behind them when we approach from the top. We've got the little fading out animation for enemies, see, enemies, NPCs, and anything that's died, basically. And they can randomly spawn coins, which I've added to the NPC health, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, but yeah. It's basically just a random chance that, basically a 50-50 chance that it'll instantiate one on death, which is basically added in a prefab, which I completely forgot to mention, so I am sorry about that. That is not one of our scripts. I will just, yeah. Basically, it's in the NPC health. We have a prefab for the coin, and basically we have a number 1 to 100 randomly generated, and if that number is less than 51, then it'll create a coin at the NPC's location when it dies. Simple enough. And what else? Yeah, and you can see, so, yeah. So, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. What else? Go play Loud or Quiet and try the Hotline Miami assets and stuff. What else? What else? That's pretty much it. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. We might be doing missions or something like that. So yeah, bye.